What is up, my peeps? Joshua Smith here with another GSD Mode podcast interview. First off, thank you so much for tuning in, for checking out the show. Your support is massively appreciated. The only reason that this show exists is because of all of your amazing support. So we truly appreciate your support. I truly appreciate your support. Make sure that you're sharing the show with as many people that you feel would benefit from the show. The goal is to always grow this show and go out there and have a big impact. Real quick though, before we jump into today's podcast, I want to plug our sponsors that make all of this possible. Our first sponsor is my personal 90-day mastery bootcamp. This is my real estate agent mentorship training program. It's a group training platform. This way it makes it extremely affordable for you. Inside this program, however, I am unpacking my entire playbook. I'm walking you through step by step everything that I do inside my real estate business, everything that I've done, everything I've learned in my 12+ year career with selling over 5,000 homes, with selling over $1 billion in real estate. And I walk you through step by step exactly what I've done, how I built what I've built, and what I'm doing today to go out there and create the success. But don't mistake the low cost for low value. This is an insanely in-depth, step-by-step program where I'm walking you through, again, step-by-step on how I go out there. My team sells 1 to 2 homes every single day in today's market, continue to grow my business year after year, and how I've been able to exit from selling, exit from actually day-to-day involvement in my real estate team, and create an epic, amazing real estate team that not only sustains but grows without my involvement. So whatever level that you're at, whether you're a brand new real estate agent, you're an individual high-producing agent that wants to expand and create a team, or if you already have an amazing team, or you're a broker owner that's looking to step up your internal training, looking to step up your systems, your processes, your tracking, make your business more predictable, this program is absolutely for anybody that's serious about leveling up inside their business. So check us out, www.90daymastery.com. Make sure you use promo code LIVEMASTERY, all one word, all together, all caps. That's going to get you the biggest discount on 90daymastery.com. You're going to see tons of testimonials on their video testimonials, what's included in the program, the future dates of the program. I do several of these every single year, so make sure to check us out and make sure to jump inside that program ASAP. My next sponsor that makes this show possible is perfectstormnow.com. If you're a real estate agent and you are looking for a lead generation machine website backed by an insanely powerful CRM system that allows you to convert your leads to appointments at the highest possible level, manage all your tasks, make sure that you're effective and efficient as you possibly can be inside your business, transaction management component, all of that stuff. It is hands down by far the most effective and affordable real estate website and CRM program that exists out there in the industry. It's what I use to go out there and sell 650 plus homes every single year, and the system is gnarly. If you're signing up for that program, make sure to use promo code MASTERY, PSN, all caps, all one word, all together. That'll save you the $200 registration fee and get you a great discount. Our last sponsor is REO University. So I teamed up with a good buddy of mine who is the most knowledgeable dude, hands down, that I've ever met when it comes to REO properties. This guy used to work for the banks directly as an asset manager, and he developed so many of the systems that you see that asset managers and asset management firms and banks use today. This guy sold over 11,000 properties, foreclosure properties, as an asset manager. And he and I teamed up with my experience of working with over 35 banks in my career, selling thousands of REOs, plus his experience. We've created just an insane program. Again, REO University, the website is www.REO University. It's a one-time payment for $997, or you can split that up into 3 monthly payments. This is not a live boot camp like my 90-Day Mastery boot camp. This is something that you have access to instantaneously. We'll walk you through exactly how to go out there and get in with the banks. So how to get the business, but then how to service that business at the highest level, how to go out there and complete BPOs, how to complete cash for keys, how to make sure that you're insane at your valuations, how to go out there and make sure that your asset managers are winning and hitting their goals, key indicators you need to look for, and more. There's 22 in-depth, just amazing, powerful modules that will teach you how to become an REO machine inside your real estate business. Now, if you're like me, I don't want my business to ever be in a vulnerable position, right? I don't care if it's a good market, bad market. It doesn't mean that my business needs to be good or bad. My business can always be great. During a market crash, right? There's no such thing as if the market's going to crash. It's just a matter of when, right? But again, you don't need to put yourself in a vulnerable position. You can make sure that your real estate business is 100% recession proof, and go out there and, of course, generate business, do a ton of business regardless of what's happening in the marketplace. And this is exactly how you go out there and do it. And we walk you through step by step. So check us out, reomasteryuniversity.com. You can learn more about the program, hopefully register for the program, jump on in. This price will not last long, right? We just created this product, rolled it out several months ago, and just getting in the hands of the consumer, and people are having a lot of amazing success. So again, check us out, reomasteryuniversity.com. All right, again, you guys, thank you so much for watching this show. Thank you so much for tuning in. Make sure to share the show. Make sure to comment, like us on YouTube, leave some positive comments. We love hearing back from you guys, and love getting your feedback. Keep kicking ass, and let's jump on into today's interview. What is up, my peeps? Joshua Smithy with another GSD mode interview. Every single week, we interview top realtors, top entrepreneurs, and straight up top badasses out there dominating their space. So people choosing to not live a life of mediocrity, but instead to go out there and create big, amazing, epic lives for themselves, their families, as well as have a big impact on others while they exist. So today, you guys, we got another rock star guest on the show. So our guest today, entrepreneur, real estate agent team leader. This is a dude that has had big success out of the gate in a very short period of time inside his real estate business. So just to put it into some context, your average real estate agent in their first year does $500,000 in gross volume sales and about $10,000 in commissions. So Chase, our guest, did in his first year of selling real estate over $8 million in gross volume sales. So we're talking 16 times what the average agent does, which is just almost unheard of. And now it's just progressed into starting his own team and really taking this to the next level. So really stoked and honored to have my good friend Chase Maher on the show, dude.
What's up, Joshua? Pretty pumped to be here, man. It's been, I feel like it's been a long time coming. I'm excited to share, learn from you, and speak to your awesome audience, man.
Yeah, no, it's such a small world, and it's funny how it works. I mean, I had a guest on a couple weeks ago, and the guest had nothing to do with real estate, right? He's a fitness coach, trainer, entrepreneur in the fitness space. And we're just having a side conversation. He's like, well, how can I, contribute back to you for having me on the show? I'm like, well, we're always looking for great, amazing, talented guests. And he knew that a big focus of our show was in real estate. And he's like, oh, dude, I got this guy in my area that I know that is just crushing it. That's dominating it, right? His name's Chase. You got to get him on the show. And then it was like, wait, do I know Chase? I mean, it's been like 2 years since we spoke, right? We met right when you were getting in the business. And then when I saw what you were up to, I was like, damn, dude, it was just exciting to see it. Just stoked to have you on, bro.
Yeah. It actually, you had interviewed Frankie and Scott. Me, Frankie, and Scott Chrisman were all in a entrepreneur group together. So Frankie shot me a text real quick. Hey, man, would you want to be connected with Joshua Smith? I said, hey, that's the homie. Let's do it. So I was excited about that, man. Yeah. 2015, late 2015, I took your boot camp course. It was phenomenal. And then 2016 had that kick-ass year that you just hyped me up about. I appreciate that. And then 2017 did even better. And I'm really excited about the vision for 2018.
Yeah, love it, dude. So are you're I know you're what, Southern California? You San Diego?
San Diego, yeah.
All right. So not only, dude, are you having big success, but it's a freaking competitive market out there, man. You get some of these markets where I get agents reaching out to me, and it's like San Diego is very it just seems to be more challenging than most. Like, Phoenix Metro, dude. I mean, with the price point and with it being so affordable, it's such a melting pot. It's easy to go meet new people, whatever it may be, and the turnover's huge. But you get areas like San Diego, San Francisco, that just seem to be much more challenging than most areas. So you're in a very competitive, challenging market and also kicking ass, dude. So let's talk about that, dude. So your first full year in the business, 8 million in gross volume sales. Like I said earlier, dude, the average agent does 10 grand in commissions the first year. 90% fell in the first 3 years. So walk us through, like, what the hell did you do in your first year? Not just to not be a, statistic, right? But to go out there and kick ass.
Yeah, man. So, it was mid to late 2015 that I was working as a hard money lender. And real quick, I went from thriving in a car business to broke as a joke, moved across the country, ran through my entire savings. And I texted my buddy that lived here in San Diego. I just moved here about a year and a half prior. I said, man, I need a job. He said, come work with me, this hard money lender. I said, sweet, let's do it. 3 months goes by. I don't make a check. I hated it. I was sitting at a desk. It was not the entrepreneur spirit. So then I started working for this house flipper, and I was bird dogging flips for him. I was just going down the street. I was calling absentee owners. Didn't have my license or anything, and I started finding flips for him. And then he was grinding me on, like, our agreement of what he would pay me for every single flip that I found him. So I said, screw this, man. I'm just going to get my real estate license. I'm going to do this on my own. So I got my license, took your boot camp. While I was taking your boot camp, I was so broke that I was flipping cars on Craigslist to get by until I had enough money to just burn the boats and go all into real estate. So like December 2015, I sat with the broker that I was supposed to be working for, and told him my goals. He basically told me that my goals were too high and that I should tone them back a little bit. So the very next day I started looking for different opportunities. I was like, screw this. You should never work with anybody that puts a ceiling or a cap on your goals. So 2016 rolls around and I'm like, all right, this is my year. I just got my license. I'm just going to crank it. Open houses were like, I took your boot camp, and the things that I got out of it was like pick 2 or 3 lead pillars and just go all in on them and fail along the way. So open houses, I did an open house, at least one every single week for like the first 7 months of 2016. I prospected every single day. I put the follow-up systems in place and just really stuck to it, man. And so I did 16 houses in 2016, my first year. And open houses were like at least half of those. And then door knocking and calling expireds were the majority of the rest. And then a couple of referrals towards the end of the year when it started clicking. But open houses, man, I think that's the best way for any new agent to get started. And you had mentioned about San Diego being competitive. Josh, it's funny. It is competitive, but you get paid so much per deal here that most agents, they sell a couple houses and then they sit back and do nothing. And so if you just stay consistent and let those other agents go up and down, you'll consistently grow, and you'll start to realize that it's more of a mindset thing, really.
Yeah, I love that, dude. Love it, man. So, one thing that impresses me about you that a lot of people just, for whatever reason, they don't have this mindset, but, and this isn't like a plug about my boot camp or whatever, but dude, like you got intentional about your training and putting a plan together and having a path, like ahead of time. I mean, most real estate agents might jump into it, try it, give it 6 months, start failing, then realize, fuck, I need some help. Like you were ahead of the curve with that. I mean, have you always been that way? And what level of your success out of the gate do you attribute to, taking the time to slow down, get the right plan in place, and then once in place, executing the hell out of it?
Your first question, have I always been like that? No, I used to be a shoot from the hip kind of guy. And when I was 18 years old, I was making 6 figures selling cars in Virginia. And June 2008, I said, hey, man, I want to buy a house. Knew nothing about real estate, knew nothing about market, knew nothing about timing or anything. I go and buy a house. 6 months later, it drops like 40% in value. So I said, okay, that's going to be the last time I ever do anything major in my life that I don't plan ahead. All right. So then I move out here to San Diego. And I kept that house. That's how I really started building my passion for real estate, investing and management and fixer-uppers, et cetera. And so when I realized I wanted to switch out of the car industry and do something that had a higher ceiling and do something that was looked at as a more professional and more, legitimate business, I was scrolling on Facebook. I saw your ad and I said, okay, he's probably not the only coach. So I looked at tons of other coaches. I vetted them all out. I asked people. And now, fast forward, I've really built this mindset of let's plan at least 50%. Let's prepare at least 50% and then take action on the other 50% because everybody's different. Everybody makes their own mistakes. So it was super important for me to prepare and get ready so that I could learn from other people's failures and hit the ground running based off their successes and their systems and their models. And there's some of the stuff I still use today. I mean, I switched up a little bit of it, but some of the stuff I'm still teaching and still using in my business today, that was super beneficial, man.
Yeah, love it, dude. So then you mentioned, you got aligned with this broker that you told your goals to and was like, look, man, expectations are too high. You're here. Let's get you down here. And you realize you had to realign with somebody. So it sounds like, you had two things. You had a plan in place, but you also got yourself aligned with the right broker, the right support. So kind of walk through what that looked like, the discovery path to find the right broker. Because the question I get all the time is exactly that, dude. Like, how do I identify the right broker? How do I go out there and find the right company to be with?
Right. That's a great question, Josh. The goal, it was December 2015. And I said, I want to sell 12 houses my first year, one house a month. And for somebody in Arizona or Florida, like 12 houses, that's nothing. But here in San Diego, that's a house a month is quite a bit, especially in your first year. And his exact words were, he's like sat back in his chair and he said, if you sell 12 houses, you'd be in the top 10% of the county. Nobody does that their first year. You might want to tone that back. And immediately I was like, all right, I'm out. So I started calling some agents that I had met and asking them. And I was like, you know what? I want to go to a big franchise so I can learn. I'll pay my dues and I'll learn. I don't care what the fees are. I don't care what the cost is. I want to be around producers. So I narrowed it down to like Remax, Keller Williams, Century 21. And I started talking to these people and I went into these meetings, Josh, and I felt like they had the upper hand because I was new. So I sat back, I rewinded, and I changed my mindset. And I told myself, all right, I'm going to go into these meetings with these brokers with the mindset that they need me. I'm the kind of person that they need in their building, and they want me more than I want them. I went in with that mindset, and it totally switched. I had them calling me, texting me, throwing out crazy offers, everything. And I came across this one Keller Williams office that I quickly found out the guy that runs the office has a massive team in Arizona that he's out of the business on. The owner of the office at the time was the vice president of Keller Williams. And I was like, you know what, this is the kind of office that I want to be at because I'm like 2 or 3 steps away from, a billionaire, Gary Keller. And I had only sold like 3 houses by the time that I went to this brokerage, and I negotiated 6 months, 100% commission. I negotiated all kinds of crazy stuff because I went in with the mindset that I'm going to be the kind of person that they want to build their business around. And that changed everything. And so for any advice that I could give to people out there is know your worth, know that you bring something special to the table, and vet out 100% and really think, is this the kind of place that I want to be at a year from now, 2 years from now, 3 years from now? What kind of growth can you see in an office? What kind of support can you get? And can you trust them long-term? I think that's it. It narrowed down to that, and you'll be good to go.
Yeah, I love it, dude. I mean, and I couldn't agree more, dude. It's sad to see out there, but some of these brokers have this mindset of, the agent works for me. And now, I might have a different perspective on this because I'm not a broker. I'm an agent. But it's like, no, at the end of the day, dude, a broker works for you.
Absolutely.
And I have a pretty, strong opinion on this. But to me, dude, a broker exists to only help me get to my goals, accomplish my goals in the most effective, affordable, and efficient, and hopefully profitable fashion. And if they can't help me do that, then it's like, freaking lead follower, get the hell out of my way, dude. Right. So you found the right broker, which I love, dude. And then, then you had the plan in place and went to work. So you talked about open houses being 50% of your business. Then you talked about expireds and door knocking. Give us an idea of like what that looked like. Like, we're now door knocking, circle prospecting. Are you also door knocking expireds and FSBOs? Like, what were you doing for that business?
Okay. So when I didn't have any listings, I went in saying, a lot of agents, I feel like they go in and they want to pigeonhole themselves to listing agent or buyer's agent. I went in and I'll work with anybody. I don't care who it is. I'm going to work with everybody. And I'm going to use my past history as a car salesman to sort of vet out if they're going to be a legitimate lead or not. We learned to do that very quickly at the car lot. And so I would do open houses, and that was like my car lot. That was like people coming into me, people coming in and me really vetting out if they're legitimate or not. Then I said, okay, how can I get listings? Well, why don't I just fake it till I make it and act like this open house, not necessarily act like it's my listing, but act like I'm selling this house down the street. So I started door knocking the open houses, 50 doors before, 50 doors after. Then I got listings, coming soon door knocking, just listed door knocking, just sold door knocking. And then it built from there. And the expireds, I know I'm getting a little off track, but the expireds, I think, is something where you got to be consistent. You want to do it in the morning. You want to be the first person that's calling them every single morning. So my system really ended up being expireds in the morning, Monday through Thursday, door knocking my listings on Friday and Saturdays, and then open houses on the weekends. And that's kind of what I built my business around. And it ended up being quite effective.
Yeah, no, I love that, dude. And just those that are watching and listening, man, because I know it's easy to get discouraged, right? You're like, hey, man, I door knocked all these doors. I got nothing, right? I mean, number one, you got to have the right strategy in place. But we do something very similar. All of our mega open houses, we door knock the 500 closest neighbors with a neighborhood invite, right? And then, of course, we don't just stop there. We've got a way to see what their plans are for selling, get them into our follow-up system. But it's like, dude, if we door knock 500 on 500 doors with that script, it translates into one listing, right? Same thing with, just listed, just solds, whether it's a door knock or a phone call. And then expireds, right? Like, we're like 1,000 dials to get a closed sale out of that. So it's that consistency, like you said, which sounds, would you say that those numbers held true for you in your first year?
So it wasn't until 2017 that I started tracking my numbers. My first year, I call it work vomit, where I just did everything, man. And I didn't track my numbers. I didn't track anything. And then I had one thing that I want to get into is mentors and the power of mentors. But I asked one of the top agents in San Diego to lunch repeatedly. And he really taught me to track numbers. And now I've been tracking numbers, and I go more by lead, contacts to leads over a follow-up period. So 500 doors, I would be getting about 4 leads. So every 100 doors, approximately 1 listing lead, and then following up with them over time. Expireds, it was about 50 contacts to 1 appointment here. And then out of those 50 contacts, about 4 appointments, list 2 of them. And then nurture the rest of them. So a big part of my business, Joshua, is nurturing. I think especially my generation, we want action right now. We want paychecks right now. And so they'll talk to somebody 1 or 2 times and then just give up because they're not ready. I'm selling houses next week, going on a listing appointment with somebody that I got in Q1 of 2016. Because I'm calling them once a month and just checking in on them, sending them handwritten notes. So, people out there that are listening, I want to stress, put as many people into your database as possible, and then have a system to follow up so that you don't even got to think. You just log into your CRM. It tells you who to follow up with, and you just hit your action items and then move on. And when they're ready, you're going to be the only one that's been talking to them 15, 20 times over the last year. Yeah. It's as simple as that.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more, man. And in sales, right? The famous quote of the fortune is in the follow-up, and that nurture is, dude, it's so insane. As long as I've been doing this now, we have people that, dude, have never opened an email, never responded, never anything else. And 4 years later, they're like, oh, thanks for staying in touch, we're ready to go. And you think it'd be a total dead lead, but you learn the power of that over time for sure. So, Now talk to us. You mentioned that you wanted to talk about the power of a mentorship. So, walk us through, number one, dude, before we get into the power of it, how do you find a mentor? Because you said like, hey, I didn't just ask this guy to lunch, and he because busy people are busy, right? I mean, I get blown up, I don't know, 20, 30 messages a day for people that want my time or want to, go out to buy me lunch or whatever. I'm like, yeah, but if I go out to lunch and you buy me the nicest lunch in town, I'm still negative in the hole, like $3,000, right?
Yeah.
At the point where you don't have that time. So you got to think of other ways to add value and be consistent with it. So, number one, how have you strategically been able to find your mentors? Then number two, let's just talk about the impact it's had.
Yeah. Great question. I think there's two ways to find mentors. One, add so much value that they want to mentor you, or two, pay for them. I do both. And the last thing that you want to do is tell somebody you want to pick their brain. Like that comment of, can I pick your brain, is like, it's almost as if you don't respect all the hard work that you've put in, that they've put in over their lifetime, over their career, to learn and to grow, and you just want to extract it for free. So don't use the phrase pick your brain. How to find them? Look at people that are at where you want to go. They're at where you want to be. That's how you find them. And then literally work for free for them. Put in your time. Your time is going to be your most valuable asset, and that's going to be the most valuable thing to them. Or, mentorships, coaching that you pay for. I recommend when you have the money to do the coaching, to do the mentorships that are paid for, so it's consistent. But there's nothing more powerful than finding a mentor, adding value to them over time, promoting their work, helping them wherever you can. And then when they want to switch it and they want to in turn add value to you, make sure you show up, you're on time. You're dressed appropriately, you act appropriately. I got a yellow notepad right here because you and I had a 10-minute conversation, and I wanted to be ready for 10 minutes of mentoring from you before even our call. So you always be prepared, always be ready to make notes. They're going to see that. They're going to see that you're acknowledging everything they're saying. And it's almost like an open book. They're just going to spill to you because they enjoy seeing the effort that you're putting into learning. So don't come at it as just picking their brain. Come at it as trying to add as much value as possible. And then in return, give, ask. In return, if you've given so much, don't be afraid to ask.
Yep. Love it, dude. So I had one of my mentors on the podcast, right? His name is Ryan Blair, and he owns a multi-billion-dollar company. And I mean, the dude's, just turned 40 years old, and he was telling me he makes $36,000 an hour, 24/7. When he breaks down his income, it's like 60 mil a month, right? So a dude like that, right? Like it's hard to get his time, hard to get his attention, hard to add value to him, but he's very also involved in his charities. And when I asked him that question, he was like, look, dude, if somebody comes to me and says, hey, I'll give you 10 hours of my time to donate towards one of your charities if you give me an hour of your time to mentor me, he's like, I take that deal all the time, right? So you may not have the money to invest in a program or whatever, but like Chase, you said, dude, like you can go out there and figure other paths to get that relationship happening.
Right. I read a book by him before. It was a phenomenal book. Man, that guy, he had a pretty rough upbringing, man. It was almost like an Eminem type story of him growing up, dude. Yeah. It's a phenomenal book, man. I really enjoyed listening to that a few times. I didn't know that he was a mentor of yours. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, nothing to lose, everything to gain. And then his most recent one is Rock Bottom to Rock Star, and both.
So I haven't read that one. I read the first one though. I'll check out the second one though.
Yeah. Well, just when we get done here, send me your address, dude. I went out there and pre-ordered several hundred of them. I did some like free giveaways. I got I don't know, a dozen left. So when we get done, I'll ship you one for free. So you have it. So all right. So then you go out there, you find this mentor, you finally get him to lunch. What has that power been in your life by, and done in your business for you by having a mentor?
Oh, wow, man. Well, now now that mentor is not even, it's not somebody that I'm consistently with. For me, I haven't had that consistent mentor of somebody day in and day out. It's been more like, hey, can I find some people, add value to them, and then and then they, give me something in return because they want to, and that might last, a couple months. And I think it's powerful. Like for somebody like, a new agent, you want to be mentored by somebody that was just a new agent, maybe a year or two ago, that's growing fast where you want to go. If you're working with somebody that, was a new agent 15 years ago and trying to be mentored by them, that might not help you as much as somebody that was just right in your footsteps and made it out of there. And so every step that I'm at in my business, I look for opportunities, look for learning experiences from somebody that is like just a couple years ahead of me, and try to learn from their mistakes. But that one lunch, man, was probably the most important lunch in my career because it was all about tracking your numbers, holding your expenses accountable, and how to grow your business so that you're not, like we talked about earlier, you're not always just a technician, and you're actually looking at your business, not always inside of your business. So that was probably the most helpful thing for me was track your numbers, know your numbers so that you know how much money you're making per dial. Like when I track it, I know every time I get hung up on, that's like $25. So I just smile like, hey, you just paid for lunch. Thanks. Yeah. And then looking at your business from a bird's eye point of view, those are the helpful things that I got out of that meeting.
Yeah, love it, dude. So then, one thing that I think is impressive about you and why, I think attributes to a lot of your success and your massive, future success to come. I mean, you're a young cat, young into this game. So the future success is going to be pretty gnarly to watch, man. I'm excited for it. But you don't, and we had this conversation before we hit the record button, you don't see yourself as a realtor, right? I mean, you see yourself as, hey man, I'm an entrepreneur. It just happens to be that I'm in the real estate industry, but I see myself as a business owner. I treat this as a business first. Kind of elaborate on that, because most real estate agents see themselves only as a real estate agent. They end up getting maybe even a high paying job, but they pigeonhole themselves to having a job for the rest of their life and never able to really expand and grow into having a true business.
Right. I don't even know where to begin with that, but I think it's so important for people to constantly look at their life 5-10 years from now and looking back. And if you see yourself as a real estate agent and you see yourself still going on listing appointments and you're in love with that, that's great. All right. No knocking that whatsoever. But if you see yourself as an entrepreneur and a business owner and somebody that can impact others' lives and make millionaires out of other people and cast that large vision, then this is such a great industry to be in because there's so many pillars that you can make a massive impact on. There's so many pillars that you can control and build and mold and build teams out of. And that's why I got into this industry. And I think it's just so important, Josh, to look at it in that way and constantly take a step back, look at it from a bird's eye point of view and move the pieces around rather than just being within the business and going on appointments every single day. Frankly, I don't like going on appointments. I don't like getting a phone call at 11 o'clock at night about, somebody bitching at me because an open house sign got left out. Those are not the things that I like, but those are the things that I'm dealing with right now because I know it's a tremendous avenue for wealth creation. I know it's a tremendous avenue for opportunity creation down the road. So what I'm focused on right now, Josh, is scaling my business, building the system so that duplicatable. And then for my future entrepreneur self, I'm focused on building my audience right now. So I got a Facebook page for real estate agents. I don't know if I can plug it in.
Yeah, hell yeah, dude. We'll put a link below as well, man. So plug away, dude.
Cool. So it's real estate agents that want to thrive. I add free value to it daily. I started it a few months ago. There's 500 agents in there. And I'm building my audience, learning from them, creating opportunities for them. I'm starting a podcast, the Real Estate Entrepreneur Show, building my audience so that when my business, the Maher group that I have right here is scalable and I'm not within the business anymore, I have an audience ready to go that I can impact and the goal is impact them so much that sure, I'll be making a solid income from that audience as well. But if you think about it with the money terms, then you'll be limiting yourself. Think about how many lives you can impact. And that's what it's about being an entrepreneur.
Yeah, no, I love it, dude. It's when people will that want to, maybe real estate agents that want to get into coaching, right? And I'll have a conversation with them and they tell, they'll be like, dude, like when I announced that I was going to start coaching in addition to running my real estate team, I mean, instantaneously, I booked 40 coaching clients. I started one-on-one, right, and realized that wasn't scalable for me, but booked out instantaneously, right, with that. But people are like, dude, how'd you do it? And I'm like, well, what we don't realize is 3 years before that, I didn't know for sure, but just kind of like you're at right now I didn't know for sure what the path is, but I knew it was going to be something in addition to my real estate team. But I knew I had to get my name out there and have that impact. So, dude, I mean, I had released and created like 300 freaking YouTube videos and all this shit of just give, creating so much content, creating so much blogs, asking for nothing, back.
Yep.
So you develop that audience and it becomes huge, dude. So then inside your real estate business, dude, when it comes to that, and I love about, getting your system process dialed in so it can be, things can be delegated, it can scale.
Yep.
Now you're still involved in them, but as business owners, you're always asking ourselves, how can I fire myself, right? Like what's the strategic way to fire myself and put somebody else in this spot? And I always use the analogy, like, dude, I hate phone calling. I mean, I hate nurture follow-ups. I hate picking up the phone. I fucking hate, like, when I even see a friend call me, I'm like I when my phone rings, I like almost get anxiety. Like I fucking hate the phones. Right. But I was like, all right, I hate it so much that I got to get so laser focused to become so damn good at this and create so much income that then I can hire somebody, train them what I did, and never do it again. And I haven't done a sales call in probably 5 or 6 years, dude, right? So yeah, you got to do those things that you hate to go out there and create that success. So what does your operations look like now? I mean, now that you're 2 full years into this, you've had 2 awesome, amazing, big growth years. Operationally, like what does your team look like today?
Yeah, great question. So right now, I always look at in a team, how many hats am I wearing? So right now I'm the listing agent. I'm the cold caller, the prospector, and I'm the team leader. I have 2 part-time assistants. One is the transaction coordinator and one is a virtual assistant. And then, I hired a showing assistant and groomed her into a buyer's agent. So right now it's me, a buyer's agent, 2 part-time assistants. The next step is going to be convert those 2 part-time assistants into 1, really nailing down my operations side. And then the last hat that I want to fill is the listing agent and marketing manager. So after I hire that assistant, get her or him an assistant, the next hat is going to be lead gen and lead coordination so that I can get out of prospecting. I can get out of the follow-up, and all I'm doing is going on appointments and managing my team. And I want to do it naturally every step of the way. I don't want to hire all these people but not have the business coming in. So I'm in that, I call it the dirty phase. I hear from one of my mentors time and time again that it's more difficult to be, at least in San Diego, numbers wise, to be selling 24 to 48 houses a year than it is to be running a team that's selling 100 houses a year. I'm in that dirty phase right now where I scale a little bit and then we have a slower month and then we have a slower month and scale it. And so it's sort of back and forth. So right now, my full focus is nailing down the operations side so that all I have to do is show up, prospect, go on appointments, drop the file on the assistant, she uploads it. I don't have to do any of the computer stuff, and I can just show up and do what I do best, which is lead gen, lead follow-up, and lead closing and negotiation. And then I'll start taking those out of my business step by step. I love the vision. I don't love the day in and day out that I'm doing. And so that's such a big reason why I want to look at it as an entrepreneur level and not as a technician for the rest of my life, because who wants to be going on listing appointments 20 years from now? I sure don't. But I want to find the person that wants to do that and hire that talent, because talent is going to grow this team, talent and production, talent and leads. So that's kind of an insight right now, man. Everything's focused on operations right now. And as soon as these operations are nailed down and dialed in, the next phase is going to be leveraging the lead gen and the lead follow-up and the whole cultivating of the database.
Yeah, I love it, dude. And I love that you said, you know, I'm clear on the vision. So you've got the vision, and then I mean, you're having to grind and do the things that you don't want to do. But when you've got that vision aligned, I think that this is the importance of it. You know, because at the end of the day, we all got to do shit we hate doing, right? But when we're focused on that vision, it allows us to get excited about doing the things that we don't even like to do because we know that we're getting one step closer to making that vision a reality. I mean, would you agree with that? And that what drives you and pushes you to do these things that you don't really enjoy doing or that the average agent might get burnt out on, but allows you to stay so laser focused, keep pushing on them, is because you're so clear on that future vision.
Yeah. And that's one thing, Josh, that I'm getting better at is they call it your big why. Your big why is what drives you. I'm getting more clear on that, but I know for me, I want $1 million a month passive income. I want to be able to travel the world when I have a family and not have to pick up the phone, not have to be going in business meetings, but know that I'm creating wealth for generations past and beyond me. Be an investor and have my money working for me. And what way can I do that? And it's by building businesses, scaling them up, hiring the right people, putting them in place. And this is just the one that I'm working on right now. That's how I look at it. Yes, I hate calling expireds. I hate getting hung up on, but the attitude that I have to have is like what I said earlier. Cool. Every time I get hung up on, that's $25. That's different than being like, dang, that person just hung up on me. What's the next person going to do? So you just got to change your mindset just a little bit, tweak it just a little bit so you can get through the stuff that you don't like doing and really know that down the road, everything I'm doing is so that I can live that life that I truly, truly want. And I consider myself lucky, man, because right now I think I'm living the life that I want. I'm happy as all hell and making good money, and I'm young and everything's going great, but it's all about a mindset switch. And I hear time and time again, listings are tough, expireds are tough, FSBOs are tough. No, what's tough, man, is you telling yourself it's tough, but if you just tweak the mindset just a little bit, you're going to push through and excel, and you're going to blow past your competition.
Yeah.
It's all about mindset.
Yeah. Well, the from being a guy that's experienced extremes in life, you know, right? From being broke as a joke, having nothing to having a little bit of money. The toughest thing is being broke. There's nothing tougher than that, dude. Right. So as tough as this shit is, dude, if money's coming in, man, it's a hell of a lot better than the alternatives. So, so, you know, with your virtual assistant, man, you know, kind of, can you give us some tips and some things that you've done to have success with that? Because it's, you know, obviously having somebody virtual is a massive cost savings for entrepreneurs, right? But a lot of people have a fear with that, or maybe had bad experiences. Like, what are some of the things that you've done to have success with a virtual assistant?
Perfect. So here's what I suggest, and this is what I tell the people in my Facebook group. In the Facebook group, Josh, by the way, I'm kind of running that as like free coaching, free mentorship, building the audience. And I tell people in there, I did a workshop the other day, pull out a yellow piece of paper, make 3 columns, okay? On the far left-hand side, write down everything that you do in your business that you love doing and you're really good at, all right? In the middle column, write down everything in your business that you're good at but you don't like doing. And then on the right column, write down everything in your business that you fucking suck at, all right? The stuff you suck at, far on the right, that's the stuff that you should be leveraging out to the VA right away, right? So this is like, for me, spreadsheet management, you know, texting all the leads in my database to make sure that I have all their addresses, you know, going through my Vulcan and cleaning up the FSBOs that have already been sold, you know, little things like that, because if I didn't have her doing it, they wouldn't get done. And then the next, and I got lucky. I hit the gold mine, dude. And I got a gal in the Philippines. She speaks perfect English. I pay her like $7 an hour and she crushes it. And so leveraging that out. And then I think that's how you should really build your team out, is the last thing that you're holding on to is the thing that you like doing at least a little bit, and the thing that you're really good at, and hiring the people, putting them in place that are better than you at each of those steps. And then just burning the boats, man, cutting the cord and letting somebody else do it. And odds are they're going to be doing it better than you. At least that's been my experience, is that with my system of the 3 columns, 9 times out of 10, if I hire the right person for that last column, they're doing it better than I am. And yeah, like you said, it's a huge cost savings. I don't have to have the space in the office, so my office is smaller. I don't have the tremendous salary right now. And this is somebody that even when I have a full operations team, we're still going to use this because it's been so beneficial thus far.
Yeah. Now you talked about combining those two into one, at some path. I mean, with the success that you're having, I mean, is your thought process right now focus on how do I make that person virtual?
I'm always going to keep virtual, but I think there's tasks within the operations of a real estate team that have to be local, have to be right next to you. I'm sure a lot of your listeners have read The Millionaire Real Estate Agent. I think it's a phenomenal book. When you're hiring people, you're not just hiring them for the job that they're taking on day one. You're hiring them with the vision that they can grow into something bigger and better. So I know that the VA is only going to be what that VA is going to be at this time. When I hire that full-time assistant to run the operations, if that person is going to be the motor that drives my business, that person is going to keep me as the entrepreneur. When I walk through, I'm like a fucking tidal wave, dude. I just wreck everything in the path, creating ideas. And then that person is going to be like the syndicator of the ideas, the person that makes those dreams into a reality and makes them applicable for everybody on my team. So I know the VA can't do that. I know my TC right now, she probably could, but she doesn't want to. So I'm looking for that person that has that vision that I have and has that mindset that when I'm rolling through like a tornado, they can take and pluck all the good ideas and build them into a system that's just like beautiful and people can follow. I know I'm not that person. I'm the idea person. I'm sure you've heard that time and time again, but we're always going to keep these VAs because I think here in the States, if minimum wage is $15 an hour, I don't know what it is in California, maybe 11 or something. There's jobs that aren't worth $11 an hour. There's jobs that are only worth $5, $6, $7 an hour. Easy stuff. Why not keep utilizing that? So this VA would then directly work for the future assistant because it's a cost savings and it's a waste of time for somebody 20 or 30 bucks an hour to do.
Can you give, I know you kind of talked about, the spreadsheet creation and different things, but like, what are some of the tasks that you have your VA doing? Just give us an idea of what I don't know, a few of those are.
Yeah. The end of each year, I do what's called a systems check. It's a touch with my database. So the VA emails and texts every single person in the database that I've marked as a Met, somebody that knows who I am. If I saw them or picked up the phone, they'd say, "Hey, Chase, that's a Met." I have her do a systems check. So she basically asks 3 questions. She asks, "Do you have any real estate plans for the next year? We want to confirm that your address and phone number is correct. And we wouldn't be doing my job if we didn't ask, do you know anybody looking to buy or sell real estate?" We call it a systems check. It's at the end of the year. Why can't that be done through a text or through an email? Because I'm already calling everybody 4 times a year in my database. What's another touch that an assistant can't do? Not one lead in my database has said, "Hey, how come you're doing this and not Chase?" Not one person. So I have her texting everybody that. I have her creating a spreadsheet. We use like Google Drive, Google Docs, Google Sheets, Calendar, Gmail, all that. Hey, it's not the most robust, but I like using it. I keep a spreadsheet of my sphere of influence mailing list. So when I'm sending out birthday cards, when I'm sending out, Christmas cards, quarterly, I send out proof of success, sort of like mail or newsletters of the houses I've sold, just extra touches. She's managing all that. She's managing the spreadsheet of the addresses so that when we do the systems check, if they have a change of address, I know that when I'm here and I export that list, it's up to date because she's had it up to date. Cleaning up the database, just all the little things that aren't like tremendous money-making activities that are tedious is what I have her doing. And it all boiled down from like that 3 columns. And I'm sure, I don't know about you, Josh, but I'm a guy that every time an idea pops in my head, I write it down. And if I can't implement it within I think I learned this from you in your boot camp, actually. If I can't implement it in 24 to 72 hours, it goes on a list. And then once a week, I check this list. Hey, what on this idea list can I delegate to have somebody else implement? And if it's something that I can just have a VA to do, then boom, I send it out to them. And if they did it wrong, so what? But nine times out of 10, it helps my business.
Yeah, I love it. Yeah, it's my 72-hour implementation rule.
Yeah,
man.
I think I got that from you, brother.
Yeah, so, because at the end of the day, dude, I've just found it in any business or any venture, it's not he or she that's the most talented. It's he or she that implements at the highest level that wins.
Yep.
And you got to create a system and kind of be a beast with that implementation. So love it, dude. When you're doing these columns, do you ever have a fourth column of things, or do you ever come amongst a time where it's okay, I suck at this, but it's something I love doing that I need to improve on and want to do? Or is it just, hey, strictly if it doesn't fit one of these three criteria, bam, here's what we do?
Josh, I like surfing. I like traveling. I like hanging out with my girlfriend. None of that stuff is going to go on my work documents. So there's never something that I suck at that's in my business that I love doing, because frankly, the only thing I love doing is hanging out with family, traveling, surfing. It's all outside of the business. I like jumping on podcasts with people like you. I like speaking. I like helping others. But I've been able to fit everything into those three columns. And I think that's how I'm going to do. It's an old school approach, but I think that's how I'm going to do pretty much every business that I go into. I learned it from Cole Hatter.
Yeah.
I learned that from him. And it's been super powerful for me, and it's helped me grow in just 1 or 2 years, where other real estate agents or teams, it's taken them 5 to 10 years, because I'm willing to take that risk. I'm willing to cut that cord and delegate. And it's made me, I don't work 6 a.m. to 10 o'clock at night. I love my hours. I love how much I'm working. Am I as profitable as other businesses? No, but I have my time to focus on other things, to focus on that audience building like you and I talked about. Time's their most valuable asset. And I think people, they don't want to spend the money, and they're afraid to delegate. And they'll never, if you don't want to spend the money and you're afraid to delegate, you'll never get to where you want to go if you truly have big visions. And I firmly believe that.
Yeah. Yeah, dude. I mean, dude, and I don't know what your experience was with this, but for most people that take that plunge, it's like hiring your first assistant is the hardest hire, right? But then once you do, man, you're just why the hell did I not do this day one? Right? I mean, you discover that power in it, and then you just want to start delegating everything, right?
Yeah. A big mistake that I ran into, Josh, was I didn't grow naturally. Fall of last year, I hadn't hired that full-time assistant yet. I had just hired my showing assistant and was grooming her. She was helping me with buyer. I do internet buyer leads. She was helping me cultivate those and showing my buyers so that I didn't have to spend time. I don't know what it's like in Arizona, but traffic here blows, dude. So I didn't want to sit in traffic anymore. I wanted to delegate that. I wanted somebody else to show those houses. So I hired an ISA. I hired somebody to, while I build out the operations and while I was stacked with appointments, I wanted somebody else to call my expireds, my FSBOs, my past expireds, and do my follow-up. I hired him. And he stayed on for 6 weeks and didn't book me one legitimate appointment. And he was trained and talented. It wasn't like some new person. And I learned that I'll never do that again. I'll never hire out of want. I'll constantly, from now on, I'll hire out of necessity, right at that, not where it's too late, not where it's too early, right at that point. And I'm building out okay, who's my next hire? Then the hire after that, then the hire after that, because I'd be stupid right now in my business if I hired somebody to take over the prospecting, because I don't have the operations side dialed in. When I have the operations side and the prospecting, I'd be stupid to hire somebody to come in and manage the team because I don't have the listing coordinator. So I'm done with skipping the steps and thinking it's cool to build out this big team. It's going to be systematic approach to who I'm hiring next. What's that person going to look and talk and act like? Because there's reasons to all of that, man. And so that was a big mistake I made last year. Cost me several $1,000s, which isn't huge in the grand scheme of things, but I don't like burning money. I know you don't like either.
Yeah, no, I love it, dude. And I couldn't agree more, man. I mean, you always hire out of necessity, not out of want. Nothing wrong with wanting to grow a team, right? But you make sure that needs there. And then, just like, we talked about Event Revisited earlier.
Yeah.
Dude, like, and I made the mistake too of I've had great talented people that have failed inside my organization, but it wasn't them that failed, right? I didn't have proven processes and systems in place for them to follow to show their greatness. And I 100% failed them, right? So,
on that, Josh, I had an issue with one of the gals on my team a couple days ago, and it was something that I thought she was doing wrong. And so I stepped away and I went to lunch and I really sat back and I asked myself, am I creating a winnable game for my people? Because if I'm not creating a winnable game for my people, then it's my fault, not theirs. Every single time you hire somebody, you should have already done their job and already known how to do it and already failed at it and already built out the systems that work so that you can create a winnable game. Because if you're not, I'm telling you guys, they're going to leave and they're going to go to a better opportunity. So create winnable games, create the systems and the processes, and look at the man in the mirror and make sure that you're doing that before you hire that person. Because if you're hiring out of want and you haven't figured it out and gone through the motions, that person's going to lose a lot of respect for you very, very fast, because people aren't stupid anymore, man. People see right through that stuff. So creating winnable games is super important. And every single step I take, I have to look at it from a bird's eye point of view. How could I have done that better so that when I hire somebody, they can do it even better than I was just doing it?
Yeah. I agree, dude. And again, I mean, both you and I, we had to learn a little bit the hard way. Your learning curve was a lot shorter than mine. I'm bad sometimes about learning lessons the first time around. But I mean, you where I'm at now in any one of my businesses, dude, it's when I hire somebody, like before I hire them, I mean, we're dissecting the processes, the systems, to the point where the only reason they don't create massive success inside that seat is if they're too incompetent to understand it, or too lazy. Either way, I don't want them in my organization, and that just comes down to then I have a broken hiring system, right? But outside of that, there is no other reason for failure. And having that dialed in. Now, your showing assistant now has become a buyer's agent. Did you have success with the showing assistant model? Like, do you see yourself bringing that back in?
Absolutely. I think there's two ways to groom a buyer's agent. And one thing I learned from that process was it was a great way to keep my profitability higher. I paid 10% of the GCI per transaction that she closed as the showing assistant. I had, and guys, I don't want to just say he or she the whole time. I'm just doing it because that's where I'm at in my business. This can be a guy or a girl. It doesn't matter. I think the process is grooming them. I want to take new people and groom them for how I want to do the business, because bad habits are if I take somebody that's been in the business longer than me and they have bad habits, I don't want to waste my time with that. So I look at three things, and then the process. They have to have good energy, good integrity, and they have to be intelligent. And they have to love money as a salesperson, woman or salesman. Now, operations side, they don't have to love money as much because they're more of a salary. But if somebody has energy, integrity, and is intelligent, and they love money, you can train them to be a great salesperson. So this gal, I had her doing showing assistant. She would go, contact all the listing agents, set the routes. Actually, I had my VA before her. My VA would set my showing routes and contact all the listing agents, so that all I had to do was show up. Now I had the showing assistant do that later. All the appointments, from like inspections to like the final walkthrough, the showing assistant did all that. I had her do that for 3 months. And then I brought her on to be buyer's agent. And then what I found was I probably had her come on buyer's agent maybe a little bit too early, but it was okay. And it worked out phenomenally, because it was like little baby steps at a time, rather than just bringing someone as buyer's agent, losing half your profit. and running into a ton of mistakes on the way. So it was a perfect model for me, and I'll absolutely do it again. And in fact, my goal is to get my buyer's agents so busy that they need showing assistants.
Yeah, I love that, dude. I mean, because the showing assistant model is so brilliant, right? You do the buyer consultation at the office, introduce them to the showing assistant. Hey, this is your, personal home showing chauffeur that's going to accommodate your schedule and show you all the properties that you want to see. As soon as you identify the property that you want, you're going to come back to the office. I'll write the offer, negotiate the offer, and step back in. And, what's your average, your average commission where you're at? It's what, like 10 grand?
No, my average sales price is 600,000. So 15,000, 2.5%.
Okay. Yeah. So, I've never implemented the showing assistant model, but I've got a ton of agent friends that just kill it with it. And, they always say on average, you're looking, depending on your price point, but somewhere between that 750 and 1,000 per transaction, right? Cause like in my where I'm at with 250,000 homes, I mean, we got to do a lot of freaking volume to match one a year. So, so it shakes out. But yeah, I mean, and then the 10%, dude, right?
Yeah, so
you're not coming out in salary. Yeah, right? They just get paid at close.
Right.
And as you add these to buyer agents, right, instead of paying a 50-50, that buyer agent now only gets 40%. So your profit margin doesn't need to differ, right?
Yeah, exactly. And, the next time what I'm going to do, that showing assistant, is I'm going to have them make a certain amount of contacts per day too. So I'm basically grooming them. They're getting paid, so they're not leaving. They are running into, activities so that they're learning. And I'm going to have them prospecting, making a minimum of 40 contacts a day for those 3 months that they're showing assistant, because that's going to remove the limiting belief of prospecting. It's going to remove that being scared of picking up the phones, so that after that 3 months is done, if they lasted and they stayed in 40 contacts a day, our minimum 20 contacts a day to be on the team after that is going to be like a breeze to them. And they're going to have learned and sat in on tons of buyer consultations. And so I think that's the system I'm moving forward, is showing assistant for 3 months, 40 contacts a day, 5 days a week for those first 3 months. And if they make it through that, they're going to be a phenomenal buyer's agent.
Yeah, love it, dude. So then when you come to that, will it still be the flat 10%, or we do something like because you're mandated to be in the office and do a little bit more work, will it be like a small salary plus a percentage for that first 90 days?
No, 10%. I think the 10%, I mean, at that point they'll be doing 3 deals a month for the next one. I mean, that's $4,500. That's pretty good in my opinion. And then the leads that they get from prospecting, a lot of those are going to be nurture leads. So when their 3 months is done, they're going to have a pipeline ready to roll. So they're going to, the goal is their first year to at least make 6 figures. So when they hit that buyer's agent status after 3 months, they have a nurture pipeline in place. And hey man, you give a man a fish, he eats for a day. You teach him how to fish, he eats for a lifetime. So I'm teaching these people how to fish, and the respect that I've seen in return, they're so much more grateful, at least in my experience so far, to be a part of a team like that teaches them, rather than, just throws stuff at them and expects them to know how to do it.
Yeah, no, I love it. Powerful stuff, dude. So I know that you gave the Facebook group name. Is there any other place that people want to watch what you're doing, stay in touch with you, maybe if they want to join your team, whatever that may be? Is there any other place that they should be going to and following you at?
Yeah. So the Facebook group, Real Estate Agents That Want to Thrive. And then Instagram has been something that is kind of gaining steam for me. So it's just chase.maher on Instagram. Check me out on there, message me on there. I put in the stories anytime I'm hiring somebody. I screenshot a couple things and I get messages of people that want to come in. Those are probably the 2 best places. Or find me on Facebook, shoot me a message, add me as a friend on Facebook. That works as well. I am retooling the website right now for the group, so it doesn't look all that great right now. So that's probably not the best place. But Facebook, Instagram, and then that Facebook group, those are going to be the best places.
Awesome. Those watching, listen, we'll have links right below to make it easy on you to check out. So as you know, dude, I mean, those that are watching, listening to this podcast are here because they want to go out there and create an insane, epic life for themselves and their families, just like you've been able to do in your, short 2-year career, right? With that being said, man, do you have any last words or advice that you'd like to leave them with so they can do exactly that?
Yeah. Look at your business from a bird's eye point of view. Everything in your business should be duplicatable with systems and processes. Create winnable games for your people. Look at the man in the mirror, the woman in the mirror, and make sure that you're creating a winnable game. Grow naturally, not out of want, but more so out of need. And dream big. Dream way past just being a real estate agent or just being a real estate investor. Dream so much further than that your dreams scare the shit out of you.
Yeah, love it. Powerful words. And those watching and listening, I know in every podcast of this, but information without implementation truly is a start of delusion. Information is the power. It's taking that information, taking massive action on it that creates power inside your world to create the life you know you want and deserve. And Chase has created a lot of success because he takes massive freaking action, right? So go out there, take something that Chase shared with you today, take massive action. And Chase, man, I truly appreciate you being here, dude. It's been an honor having you on the show. When you get that podcast up and launch, man, if you're looking for guests, I'd be honored to be on yours as well. But this has been a lot of fun, brother.
I'll hit you up about it, man. I appreciate you having me on.
100%. All right, guys, see you next time.